So I think I may have the best bet for Thursday Night Football, and by that I mean I know I have the best bet for Thursday Night Football. Dolphins Bengals. That's the game we're going to be going through, and we'll start out by just browsing through the odds. So if you're new to the OddsJam YouTube, really what makes this channel unique is it's not run by a sports book, right? So what we try to focus on is really the math, the data behind sports betting, how you can actually make money long term and get an edge. Because what sportsbooks promote on social media, these crazy long shot 10 leg parlays, if a sportsbook is promoting it that's making money off you betting on it, it's probably not what your betting strategy should be. So, kind of the first thing you need to know about sports betting is you need to line shop. So you can see right here the Dolphins are best offered at plus 172 odds. Why? Tua 3-0? I'm not really sure, but they're offered at plus 172 on the Betfair exchange, which is a very efficient betting market, right? It's a peer-to-peer betting market, in Europe where you can bet against other people. And as you get closer to game time, it gets really active. So it's a good source of information, right? The Bengals best offered at minus 175. So I have a killer pick. If anything, I would lean to bet the Dolphins. But what I'm saying is hey, I'm not going to bet, I actually already previously have a bet on the Dolphins. I have them on the first half spread at plus 115, right? So I'm on the Dolphins in this game. On the first half spread, I have another play, which I'll show you in a bit, which you're going to love. But long story short, it's just you want to be price conscious. If you're a sports bettor who uses Betfred and Bet Online, let's say those are the only two sports books you use, you shouldn't bet the Dolphins money line, right? Even if you think the Dolphins are going to win, you shouldn't bet their money line. Why? Because you're getting ripped off. You're getting a terrible price, right? You can have opinions about games. You can handicap sports. Absolutely. For sure, you can do that. Do I think you're going to be a net winner? No, I don't. I think you'll be a net winner by following the data, realizing there's already been hundreds of millions of dollars bet on Thursday Night Football. It's a very efficient market, right? There have been millions, hundreds of millions of dollars bet. You're not smarter than hundreds of millions of dollars being wagered on all these different things. So you should be using data to inform your betting decisions, right? And I know, as a sharp bettor, when there's a bunch of sports books offering plus 172, plus 167, I don't want to be betting at plus 155 on the Dolphins money line on DraftKings because that is a surefire way to lose a lot of money. So, the Dolphins plus 172, so pretty big underdogs in this game, a little surprising, as one of the only undefeated teams in football. But regardless, point spread 3.5 to 4.5, depending on what you're looking at. You can see here, as a sharp bettor, you always want to be looking for value. Plus 4.5, at minus 118, if the Bengals win 24-20, something like that, we'd be cashing our Dolphins point spread on Palmer bet, whereas we'd be losing on basically every sports book. So it seems like there's some value there. And value, as a sharp bettor, is everything we're looking for, right? When I worked on Wall Street, as a quant, all we care about is market data, market information, right? And what's so fascinating about sports betting and why you should definitely be browsing odds before you ever place a bet, it's literally free to do on OddsJam, 100% free to browse odds, millions of odds, updating in real time for any sport you want to bet. And the reason you need to be browsing odds is you get opportunities like this. It is completely realistic, right? And not that low of a probability that the Bengals win by 4 points. That's a key number, right, in football, because it's the difference between a touchdown and a field goal. 24-20, right? Scores like that are very common. So being able to pick up an extra point around a key number is really what can turn you from a losing sports bettor to a winning sports bettor. So regardless, we don't have a bet on the point spread. Total points market, 46.5, 47.5, depending on the book. On OddsJam, player props, whatever you want to look at, you can look at. So, if we want to look at player passing touchdowns, before I give out my arguably the best pick of all time, what you can do is just kind of, sportsbooks offer a lot of markets. You can look at, maybe what do we want to bet on? Player touchdowns. what is this? Over 2.5 touchdowns? So sure. Like whatever you want to bet on, you can browse odds for. Joe Burrow to throw an interception, unders favored. So the market is pricing that Joe Burrow is, more likely to not throw an interception. So we'll see about that. But the play I went with is a value bet. So all the plays I give out typically on this YouTube are positive EV bets, right? OddsJam has a lot of tools. We have a middle betting tool that kind of shows you like where are sportsbooks even setting the line at different levels in the first place. But one of the main things we focus on is just positive EV betting because it's the most profitable type of sports betting, the most fun type. And what positive EV betting is it just kind of like, I have 3 plays I'm going to give you on this game, by the way. And what positive EV betting is it just kind of is finding, bets that beat the vig, finding bets that have a positive expected profit margin. So as an example, the play I went with is the Dolphins team total over 23.5 at plus 130. I hammered it for $1,000. And you can see my bet is good. If you're clever, you can already see why. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. If you take a second look, you'll be able to see. Is my bet, WinBet is giving me $1,043 if I want to cash it out. Which if you think about it, doesn't make much sense, right? I bet $1,000 and WinBet is saying, hey, your bet is so good, we'll give you $1,043.41 just to take it off, which is $43 I would make in risk-free profit just for cashing out my bet, right? So WinBet already lowered the odds to plus 105 because they're like, dang, your bet was so good. But luckily I have 2 more picks I'm going to share with you. And really, again, the purpose of this YouTube, I don't only want to give you the picks I'm on and show you that, we're winning long term. I want to kind of like teach you how you can bet on sports, actually have an edge, make money off the sports books long term, right? That's the goal of the OddsJam YouTube, and what makes us different is there's not just BS like, hey, we're promoting, XYZ Sportsbook and like, whatever, like we're DraftKings Sportsbook and go place this crazy parlay. Like this channel's different. The goal is to help you learn the strategies to make money sports betting, right? I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars betting on sports, and it's all about the data. It's all about the odds. It's all about understanding how the market works. So the plays we've given out since the start of football season, we're up 15.4K. Not bad if you ask me. But anyways, let's get back into the data. Why do we like this play? So it's all a market, OddsJam is just a market-driven, I don't even want to say system. It's just like fact, right? Like sportsbooks charge the vig, and there are a bunch of sportsbooks in the market, right? Every single sportsbook sets odds independently. DraftKings doesn't have the same odds as FanDuel, doesn't have the same odds as Betfred, doesn't have the same odds as Bet365. Every sportsbook prices things independently because they all want to be unique, right? So what you want to do is kind of like, as a sharp bettor, the way we do it, right, is you treat every single sportsbook as an independent data point of what the line should be, and you look for profitable bets. You look for discrepancies, right? So what you'll notice here is like, wow, every sportsbook has the under favored roughly at minus 130 to minus 142. Is there any value? And there's not really any value. All the sportsbooks are kind of synchronized. Whereas if we take a look at the team total, it's like, wow, for the Dolphins, we're getting over 23.5 points, 24 or more, at plus 110 on Bet Online, plus 111 on Pinnacle, 2 of the sharpest sportsbooks in the world. We're getting plus 130 on WinBet. So we're getting a lot of improvement to the 2 sharpest bookmakers, or 2 of the sharpest sportsbooks. Pinnacle is the sharpest sportsbook in the world, Bet Online, a very sharp bookmaker. It's like, yeah, we're getting a ton of value on WinBet at plus 130. So you can quantify that profit margin mathematically. We have a bunch of videos that kind of break down how to like calculate your profit margin of a bet and figure out if it's positive EV or not. But basically the simple way is just use this positive EV tool on OddsJam. You can kind of learn about the math I highly recommend before you ever place a bet. I mean, it's kind of like anything in life. Like you should probably like learn what you're getting into before you start betting a lot of money on sports and thinking you have an edge. Like you should learn how do the pros do it? How do the sharps do it? How do people who do this full time for a living do it? Right? And the way they do it is they follow the market, they look for outliers, they look for pricing discrepancies, and they hit those bets once they calculate their edge or their mathematical, profit margin, their return. So being able to get plus 130, is clearly pretty ridiculous value. So this is a play you want to be all over. It's a play I locked in, and clearly WinBet's like, oh, we shouldn't have given him that bet. So lots of other bets, I have open, like to say the least, a lot of bets. So hopefully we're able to, crush the sports books this weekend. But I want to give you a few more plays, right? And if you want a positive EV bet, like my recommendation is start out at a level you're comfortable with and just place as many bets as you can on a daily basis at a risk level you're comfortable with and track your profit and loss. Like you'll notice even in our sheet of profit and loss, we're up 15.4K. We started out going down 0-4, down 2.35K. Then we won a little, then we lost, then we started winning, yada yada. It's streaky, right? Sports betting is streaky in general. We're finding bets where we have an edge over the sports book, a 3% profit margin, yada yada. But not every bet's going to win, right? Like you're still going to have losing streaks. So you need to be able to deal with that. And once you you'll see the graph goes up and to the right over time. But it's kind of like, not every day you're going to win. That's just not the way any sports betting system works, right? Positive EV betting is the only rational market-driven way to make money. It's the only rational way. Just think about it, right? Sportsbooks charge the vig. The vig is typically 3 to 4 to 5% depending on the market. So you're looking for bets where you're beating the vig. So you need a 5% advantage, 4% advantage. So find sportsbooks offering 5% better odds, and you're beating the vig, and you're guaranteed to make money long term. And just it's pretty simple, right? Sportsbooks charge a spread. It's called the vig. They charge you 4%. Find bets that outweigh the vig, and you're getting a 4% improvement from every single other sportsbook, and you're beating the vig. You win, right? So my recommendation is place 500, 1,000 positive EV bets. Even if you just place them for $1, track your profit and loss, you're going to be up big. So the second play that I still really love, also on the Dolphins though, is going to be the Dolphins plus 2.5 on the first half spread. Hammer it. And then finally we have the Dolphins plus half on the first quarter spread. So I recommend all those bets. The only play I'm locking in this video is this first one, because in the other video, I did a previous video on this game, or I had a bet from this game. I already bet this, so I'm not going to re-add it to my sheet. But regardless, Dolphins team total, absolutely love it at plus 130, 24 plus points. Let's make some money. Let's go Dolphins.